from the South Point studio. The perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Who is there for heroes or the families left behind when a service member or first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless veterans? And who helps our nation to never forget 9/11? Let me tell you who. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The foundation's Gold Star, Fallen First Responder, Smart Home, and Homeless Veteran programs comprise their In the Line of Duty programs. They're all dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes and their families. The foundation's Never Forget programs engage people in 9/11 remembrance across America. Over 80 runs, walks, and climbs a year, dozens of golf outings, and the Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is educating kids in kindergarten through 12th grade to help our nation keep its vow to never forget. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program on this Sunday. It is the 28th day of April, 2024. We welcome you to the show. We come to you live and direct from the gaming capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, right here at our studio station. Yes, our studio station, South Point Studios, on the South Point Studios streaming network at YouTube. And that's where you should be getting us right now. For those of you running around town this early Sunday morning, you can hear us on our anchor radio station here in Las Vegas, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. And, of course, all of the streaming on our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas.world, .global, your iPhone, your Android with the apps, the KSHP app for listening, and the YouTube app for listening and watching, and, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting as well. We welcome you to the show as we now start the countdown to the Kentucky Derby. The die is now set. They drew for both the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks yesterday evening during the opening evening card at Churchill Downs. Very interesting post position draw, very interesting post positions for some of the horses that are key in the race. And all I can tell you, a little tease on that, in case you've been hermetically sealed in the Funkin' Wagnalls mayonnaise jar somewhere and haven't seen it yet. we're going to go over the Kentucky Derby in Kentucky Oaks Fields a little bit later on in the show after the menu with Jonathan Hardon. Get the reactions from Rich Eng, Jerry Jakowec, and, of course, John Lindo as well. But now with the post-position draws as they came out yesterday, this becomes an even more wide-open Kentucky Derby for the 150th running of the Run for the Roses, because the key horses, the horses that were, considered the favorites, did not get the best of draws. We'll leave it at that for a moment until we get to that segment of the show. We welcome you to the show, and of course, want to remind you, as we have at the beginning of every show, I know that most of you who watch this show day in and day out say, oh, here he goes again, but there's a lot of people that are jumping on board now that are watching, that we want to remind everybody about our schedule next week. Next week, on Thursday, coming up on Thursday at 3 p.m., only on the YouTube streaming network, the South Point Studio streaming network on YouTube. This is the only place you can get this show. On Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, I'll have Jonathan Hardon, John Lindo with us in studio, along with a host of other handicappers. We're going to go over the Kentucky Oaks card and preview the Kentucky Derby as well on that show, because it is the day before the Kentucky Oaks and 2 days before the Derby. That special show only on YouTube, only on the South Point Studio streaming network. Make sure you tie on with that for Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. All right, then we go to the next day. Of course, the Race Day Las Vegas shows will be, as they always are, Wednesday through Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. This is a constant, so don't worry about that through the Derby week. But coming on the next day, on Friday, we'll sit down, we'll play and watch the Kentucky Oaks Day card. And then when that is complete, and when the racing in Southern California is complete, at 6 p.m. Friday, and that is, of course, the third day of May, at 6 p.m. on Friday, we'll have the Kentucky Derby annual seminar that happens here at the South Point in the Grand View Lounge with Jonathan Hardon from the East Coast, John Lindo from the West Coast. I'll be there hosting the thing. We're going to go over the entire Kentucky Derby, take a look back at what happened that day in the Kentucky Oaks card, and look ahead to some other stakes races on that day that our handicappers like as well. So that Kentucky Derby seminar starts at 6 p.m. on Friday in the Grand View Lounge. It's adjacent to the race book here at the South Point. And then finally on Saturday, Derby Day. We're all up in the grand ballroom, the big grand ballroom for the Kentucky Derby viewing party. Now, the doors will open at 9 a.m. It's a huge, big ballroom that they host for the Super Bowl and the Final Four and all of that. It's on the second floor. Big banquet tables to spread out all of your paraphernalia of handicapping tools, etc. You'll have enough room on the table for the food and beverage, all at a discount price. And, of course, a full bank of betting windows, betting kiosks as well. And, of course, we're going to have a hat contest. That hat contest will start at 2 o'clock. Bring your best lids with you, because the hat contest will provide with cash prizes that include the most elegant, the best horse-themed, the best fascinator or fedora, and the best overall. So we're going to have a big party up there for the Kentucky Derby. All of which I just explained to you from Thursday on out is free. Free, free, including parking your car. So we want you all to come out and enjoy America's most famous horse race, the fastest 2 minutes in sports, your Run for the Roses, the 150th Kentucky Derby with us, okay? All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at what some of the things that happened yesterday. As we were telling you, Churchill Downs opened with a twilight card yesterday, and the key thing about the opening of the opening at twilight yesterday at Churchill Downs was twofold. One, of course, the draw for the Derby and the Oaks, and the other one is to showcase the $200 million new, fabulous, state-of-the-art paddock there that just blew the socks off of a lot of people who were there. It's really gorgeous and pretty and functional as well. It is it's built for the big crowds that'll be there for the Kentucky Derby. Yesterday at Churchill Downs, let's see, the highest price winner came in the third race in the form of Center Stage. It paid $45.84. The featured $200,000 Roxalana overnight stakes, a $200,000 overnight stakes at 6 furlongs, was won by Zeitlos, with Joel Rosario aboard for Steve Asmussen, paying $8.90 to win, outrunning Dazzling Blue and Happy Am I. The late pick 5 at Churchill Downs yesterday, featuring the winning numbers of 7, 2, 1, 5, 11, paid $10,459.85. Kind of a window into the boxcar payoffs that could happen all week next week with those big fields and, of course, the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. They will not race today at Churchill. And next week at Churchill, let's see, they will start their racing at Churchill next week on Tuesday. They'll run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And, of course, it takes them a day to clean out the joint on Sunday. That's the schedule for Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby, next week. Santa Anita yesterday had a couple of stakes races. The Kona Gold was won by the Chosen Vron. This horse is a legend in his own time. He is the epitome of the hard-working guy that goes to work 5 days a week with his lunch pail in his hand. The Chosen Vron, a 6-year-old, has now won 17 of 22 lifetime starts, 20 times in the money. And he has 10 of 12 victories at Santa Anita and 5 of 6 victories at the distance when he won the Kona Gold yesterday under Hector Barrios for trainer Eric Kuljak. Chosen Vron wins again, pays $240 as the prohibitive favorite in the race. Happy Jack gave a good chase. He was second, and Express Train was third in the race. But what a trooper, what a iron horse this is, the Chosen Vron winning the Kona Gold and another victory at Santa Anita. Later on in the day, the Royal Heroine at a mile on the turf was won by Uncorked, Frankie Dettori for Phil D'Amato. It was a grass race. The grass featured Royal Heroine won by Uncorked at $12.80, outrunning Justique and Stay and Scam, who finished third. Pick 6 yesterday at Santa Anita paid a good price, $28,834.30. And as far as the riders were concerned, Umberto Rispoli had a couple of wins. Kyle Frey was the riding star yesterday. He had 3 wins on the card. Trainer Peter Miller checked in with a couple of wins as well. That yesterday at Santa Anita. Golden Gate held their final stakes race ever at Golden Gate yesterday. It was the San Francisco Mile. And the winner there was Lamas with Irving Orozco aboard, paying $21.60 for Manuel Badia as the trainer. Lamas wins the San Francisco Mile, and he'll be a trivia question at a lot of bars someday for the last stakes race ever at Golden Gate. Air Force Red was second, and Bolitnikov, the Southern California shipper, finished third in the race at Golden Gate yesterday. Aqueduct yesterday. Jonathan Hardon came with a winner in the 9th race. The horse was bet down, but the winner is a winner is a winner. Better lucky than good. Paid $5.50, giving Christopher Clement his second win on the day. Clement also won the 4th race. And as far as the stakes race of the day was concerned, that was the Woodhaven Stakes. It was the 6th on the card. Good Lord Laurie won that race. Flavian Pratt aboard, $7 even for trainer George Weaver, outrunning the Big Torpedo and Wally World in that race. And Jerry Jakowec came with a reverse play as well. So both Jerry and Jonathan came with winners. They were favorites, though. Jerry's key horse ran second to the favorite in the 8th race, overreacting and paying $5.10. The reverse $1 exacta paid $7.10 there at at Aqueduct. Oaklawn now is next. Oaklawn had a couple of stakes races. They were the Bachelor Stakes, won by Valentine Candy, Ricardo Santana aboard for Steve Asmussen. Asmussen was winning this particular stakes race for the 8th time, with Valentine Candy paying $4.80 as the favorite. Frost Free was second. Cats by 5 was third. And in the other stakes race, the Dig a Diamond Stakes, the winner there was Hoosier Philly. Rafael Bejarano got his third win of the day with that one. Hoosier Philly paid $4.40 as the favorite there, outrunning Absinthe and Blue Light Special, who finished third. Tom Amos trained the winner there, Hoosier Philly. And I guess Mr. Bejarano was the top jockey of the day with 3 wins there. By the way, trainer Dan Ward had a couple of wins early as well, both with Bejarano. Gulfstream Park had that mandatory Pick 6 payout yesterday. Those Pick 6 race winners paid $5.60, $2.60, $9.40, $3.80, $7.40, and $31.20. And all but for the last race, it would have been really a very short price in there. But nevertheless, with that big carryover that was piled in there for the winners in the Pick 6, and with that $31 winner in the last race giving Edgar Zayas his 4th win of the day, Paco Lopez and Edgar Zayas won 5 of the 6 races in the Pick 6 yesterday at Gulfstream. 6 out of 6 paid $2,354.74. And on opening day at Woodbine, wow, what a day Sophie Vives had. Sophie Vives won 5 races out of the 10, half of the races yesterday on the opening of Woodbine. And that 5th one came in the featured Star Shoot Stakes, won by Sabatini, paying $28.70 for trainer Josie Carroll. Second was Mystic Lake. Third was Dancing Duchess. And Sahin Savici had 3 wins as well. So between Vives and Savici, they won 8 of the 10 opening day races at Woodbine. All right, you got all you need to know about yesterday. Now we got to get started today. And of course, look at the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oak Field. So we're going to get started. We'll go to our first break. Don't forget, on the show today, Jonathan Hardon, Rich Eng, John Lindo, and Jerry J. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. A beautiful day in our neighborhood, 58 degrees right now outside. We're going to get up to 81 today, and it looks like this is going to be the type of weather we have all week long in case you're making plans to be with us here in Las Vegas for the, of course, the Kentucky Derby, our Super Bowl. And looking ahead to the weather for the next week at Louisville, Kentucky, where the Kentucky Derby will be held. On Monday, they say they have a 65% chance of thunderstorms, and it's going to be 83 degrees topping off on Monday. Tuesday, more showers in the area, topping off at 78. Partly cloudy on Wednesday with a top off of 84. Thursday, which is Thurby Day, they predict it's going to be 88 degrees and mostly sunny with only a 14% chance of rain. Friday, Kentucky Oaks Day, scattered thunderstorms. They say about 58% chance of scattered thunderstorms for Friday, Kentucky Oaks Day, with a high of 76. And on Kentucky Derby Day, right now, their predictions on Kentucky Derby Day, partly cloudy, 76 degrees, 24% chance of any precipitation, and the winds will be west-southwest at 11 miles per hour. So we'll wait and see about that. Let's hope Mother Nature is a racing fan. All right, time to get started with today's racing menu. Remember, the first post times we broadcast on the racing menu each and every day reflect out of the Pacific time zone. So if you're here in Las Vegas, you'll be going to this racebook today here at South Point. These will be the first post times that roll out in our racebooks. If you're listening anywhere else in the country, through all of the people that we welcomed at the top of the show in many different time zones, you'll have to adjust whatever time zone you're in to the Pacific time zone. first post times we broadcast on this racing menu are that of the Pacific time zone. Don't want you to miss anything. Shot at making money, like I miss mom and dad. Okay, here we go. We begin with Laurel Park. Laurel Park has a pick six jackpot carryover, $10,148, 9 races, and a first post time of 9:25. Then we have Tampa Bay Downs. Tampa Bay Downs has a first post time for 9 races at 9:30. 9:30 at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's first post time is, of course, 9:30. And they have 9 races there. Gulfstream Park has 10 races. Of course, no carryover in the pick six. They emptied it out yesterday, so the jackpot starts anew today. 10 races at Gulfstream. First post time is 10:10. 10:10 at Gulfstream. Then we go to Woodbine, day 2 of the 129-day meet there up in northern in Canada, north of the border. First post time is 10:10 at Woodbine. They have their stakes race today is the Woodstock Stakes. 8th race on the card, 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds. 6 go to the post in that one. The 9-5 favorite there is Midnight Mascot with Patrick Husbands aboard. 6-horse field in the Woodstock. 10 races at Woodbine, and a first post time at Woodbine today at 10:10. 10:10 at Woodbine. They got a super high 5 jackpot carryover off the one day of $4,611. Aqueduct is next, the big A in New York. And Aqueduct, we see the weather there as being fast. The track's fast. Both turf courses are firm. 65 at post time with partly cloudy skies. No carryovers at Aqueduct. 9 races. The feature race is the 6th on the card. The Memories of Silver Stakes at a mile on the inner turf course for 3-year-old fillies. A field of 10 before scratches. 8-5 favorite is Camera with Kendrick Carmouche. 9-5 second choice is Sweet Rebecca with Tyler Gaffleone. We'll wait and see about that. 9 races today at Aqueduct and a first post time of 10:20. Oaklawn Park has 9 races. Now, I'm going to tell you, the weather conditions look pretty bad for Arkansas. I mean, they're having some bad weather there in the state of Arkansas. Maybe it'll miss Hot Springs. We don't know. But in any case, be forewarned about that. First post time for the 9 races at Oaklawn Park is at 10:30 at Oaklawn. Hawthorne Racecourse has 8 races. Hawthorne Racecourse has a first post time at 12:30. Their first post time is 12:30. Couple of carryovers there. Pick 6, $269. Super high 5 carryover, $573. And again, first post time at Hawthorne is at 12:40 for their 8 races. Then we get to Santa Anita. Santa Anita has 9 races today. No stakes race, but 9 races today at Santa Anita and a first post time of 1 o'clock this afternoon. 1 o'clock at Santa Anita today. Golden Gate, their first post time at Golden Gate is 2:15. 2:15 is the first post at Golden Gate, not 1:15. And the reason for that, they tell us, is because they only have 7 races on the card, and they want to match up, obviously, the last 2 races to the Golden Hour Pick 4 and the Golden Hour Pick 5 with Santa Anita. So they're going to back up the first post to 2:15 with only 7 races at Golden Gate today. Super high 5 carryover there, $1,494. They emptied out the pick 6 carryover yesterday at Golden Gate. Again, first post time 2:15 at the gate today. And then we go to Los Alamitos to wrap it up in Southern California. Now, Los Alamitos, of course, has their first post time at 5:40. 9 races, 1 thoroughbred, 3 mixed breed, and 5 quarter-horse races on the card at Los Alamitos. And, of course, as you know, they usually seed the pot on Sundays in the pick 6 at $10,000. They didn't need to do that because they had a carryover from last night. So the pick 6 carryover at Los Alamitos tonight is $10,211. And that's your racing menu for today. All right, bring in Jonathan Hardon. Let's bring him in. Oh, by the way, I want to mention to everybody, you know, this is crazy. Kentucky Derby week is crazy. Everybody's going to have a pick in the Kentucky Derby. No matter who you talk to, from your mailman to whoever, they're going to ask you who you like in the Kentucky Derby. Well, that plays as well here on the South Point Studios streaming network. Punchlines, that's on Monday through Friday. Punchlines on Monday through Friday with Frank Nicotero. Tomorrow at noon, on their show at noon, they go at noon tomorrow Pacific time, they're going to have Eddie Olczyk on. Now, Eddie Olczyk, of course, you remember, is a famous hockey player. but he also is part of the team, the broadcast team for NBC. He loves horse racing, and he's going to have not only stories, but he's going to have a pick for you as well in the Derby. That's tomorrow on Punchlines. Don't forget to watch it noon here on the Pacific time on the South Point streaming network. All right, Jonathan, good morning. Now, let's get him up. Well, okay, I don't hear him. Here we go again. Let's try again, Jonathan. Okay. Let me do this. While we try to figure out why Jonathan isn't on. By the way, he was on when I was talking to him earlier before the show, so I don't know what happened here. But in any case, why don't we put up the Kentucky Derby graphic, and I'll go through the Kentucky Derby while you guys figure out what's going on with Jonathan. There it is, okay? Here they are, from the rail out. Number 1 is Dornoch, trained by Danny Gargan. Luis Saez will ride at the morning line of 20-1. Number 2 is Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone gets post 2. Chad Brown trainee, Tyler Gaffleone, the jockey, 3-1 on the morning line. Number 3 is Mystic Dan with Kenny McPeak as the trainer. Brian Hernandez Jr. rides at 20-1. Catching Freedom is the 4 horse, one of the Brad Cox 3 in the race. And Catching Freedom with Flavien Prat is 8-1. Number 5 is Catalytic. Safi Joseph Jr. Trainee. Jose Ortiz will ride at 30-1. The 6th is Just Steel with for D. Wayne Lucas, the coach D. Wayne Lucas. Just Steel. Keith Asmussen will ride at 20-1. The 8 is Just a Touch. Florent Garreau riding for Brad Cox. That is his second entry there. Brad Cox at 10-1. And Brad Cox's third entry in the race will draw right alongside his stablemate. Number 9 is Encino with Axel Concepcion aboard at 20-1. The 10 is T.O. Password. And I'm going to screw up the name of the trainer. I believe it's Daisuke Takanakaaki. The rider is Kazuchi Kimura. I know Jonathan's laughing out there. 30-1 on the morning line. I do believe I got him. Jonathan, you there?
I'm here, Ralph.
All right, we got you. All right, we got you now. So we needed you to laugh to get the voice working right. Anyhow, that's half the field. The 11 is Forever Young with Rasui Saki riding at 10-1 with trained by Yoshido Yakahaki. The 12 is Track Phantom. Steve Asmussen trainee Joel Rosario riding at 20-1. The 13 is West Saratoga with Larry Demerit, the trainer. Jesus Castanon riding at 50-1. Endlessly is the 14 horse. Umberto Rispoli riding for Michael McCarthy at 30-1. The 15 is Domestic Product. Chad Brown trainee Irad Ortiz at 30-1. 16 Granmo the first. Victor Barboza Jr. the trainer. The rider is Ismael Jaramillo at 50-1. The 17 is Fierceness. Todd Pletcher trainee, John Velasquez riding the morning line favorite at 5-2. He'll break from post 17. Number 18 is Stronghold. The Phil D'Amato trainee with Antonio Fresu aboard at 20-1. The 19 is Resilience. Bill Mott training, Junior Alvarado riding at 20-1. And the 20 is Society Man with Danny Gargan, the trainer, Frankie Dettori riding at 50-1. You got 2 also eligibles, Epic Ride and Magatu. And they're only going to get in the race if somebody drops out. All right. Your impressions first of the draw for post position.
Well, nobody in the field of 20 got a worse draw than Sierra Leone. And the simple reason is because he has 0 speed. He's got the 2 post. And you know one thing, Dornoch is stepping on the gas and he's going to go as fast as he can early, which now forces Sierra Leone to be stuck on the rail. He doesn't have enough early speed to stay close, so he's got 2 choices. He could stay inside and pray that the inside opens and he'll get away through, or he's got to drop back and circle 19 horses. In either case, he's in big trouble with that draw. As for Fierceness, nobody has won the Derby from post 17. Not that that means anything, because for all we know, I'd like to know how many favorites had post 17 and lost. But that's going to be the stat that they're all going to be talking about. I came up with an idea. It hit me in the middle of the night.
Wait a minute. Before you say this, this is a genius idea. Go.
I don't know if it's a genius idea, but it's a pretty good idea, I think. I think that you should be able to choose your own post position by the amount of points you have. If you have the most points, you choose first. If you have the second most points, you choose second. First of all, it would open up a whole new dynamic. It would incentivize people to run more, to earn more points, so they'll get a better choice for post position. I think it's a pretty good idea, Ralph. I really do. And listen, post position is really important in the Derby, especially when you're dealing with a field of 20. I just think that idea would work. Who could we bring it to?
Well, hopefully somebody listening here has enough influence to get the ears of the people at Churchill Downs, because I think that is a great point, and the reason being that it'll give these guys incentives to run in these big races and get those points. I mean, the incentive is already there because they need points to be one of the 20.
Yeah.
But then you get an additional.
It's a whole new strategy. It's a whole new strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and say, okay, now that we got enough points, we got to try to get a good post position. That would come into play as well as the secondary, or maybe the foremost after you get your points. That's for sure. And I think it's got a lot of merit to it. I don't know if we'll ever see daylight, but I mean, it's got a lot of merit to it. And you heard it here on race day from Jonathan Hardon, who thought of this at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I understand, this morning. He just woke up and thought of this thing. But in any case, two things about fierceness in number 17. First of all, the Kentucky Derby is what it is today. Everybody wanted to run in it because it's a legendary race. But in the first, maybe 75, 80 years, there was hardly ever a time when they had 20 horses or even 17 horses in the Kentucky Derby. So that's going to be skewed because you're going to get numbers 1, 2, and 3 are going to be the most winners, because in those days there weren't big fields. Every field had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know? So, and not only that, but there is a new starting gate now, specifically for the Kentucky Derby, that doesn't link the two big gates together with that big gap in the middle. There's 20 stalls across. It fits perfect where you start the 1.25 mile Kentucky Derby there. So the outside posts are not as demanding as they used to be with the old starting gates in place. And of course, fierceness does have, he does have two things going for him. One, he'll be one of the last horses entered, so he's not going to be sitting in the gate too long. And secondly, he does possess enough speed to get a negotiable situation, if not to the lead, because it's a 3/16 mile run until you hit that left turn.
But we've never seen him pass a horse either, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, sure. He's going to want to go to the lead, yeah.
Yeah, the new gate also helps the rail draw, supposedly. It used to be you would literally start, before like a turn. You would have no choice but to check if you were breaking from the inside. Now the new gate, since it's only one gate, supposedly it helps the inside. It gives the inside horse some sort of a chance. But in this case, it made no difference, because even with the old gate, Dornoch has only one way to go, and that's full steam ahead. We saw the experiment of trying to rate the horse the last time he ran. He was awful. So I'm sure they threw that idea right out the window. They're going full steam ahead. Again, Sierra Leone he's got to overcome an awful lot. And Gaffleone, I'm sure, is going to be, in conversation with Brown exactly how to handle the situation. They'll figure it out, and let's see what happens. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Well, two things. One, Gaffleone knows that track like the back of his hand. He's competed there at Churchill Downs, does very well there. So he has the nuance. He knows the nuances on the racetrack. And secondly, I think he might have a new piece of equipment that they might give him, and that's a horn. Beep, 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 because he's going to have to get through. He's got a lot of traffic to go through, that's for sure. All right, so we had to just touch upon this. Of course, we're going to be getting into it all next week, as far as you guys handicapping on the Thursday show, et cetera, and certainly right up until the Kentucky Derby time. So we just wanted to give a quick thumbnail of what's going on there. But those two post position draws by the two favorites were really the glaring situation, as far as the Kentucky Derby draw is concerned. I'll tell you what, the Japanese horse, Forever Young, getting post 11, got a nice draw there. And for the most part, I think everybody else is okay with their post positions. Of course, everybody would like to be between maybe post position 7 and 12, but so be it, that's for sure. And a horse that you've been gaining a lot of respect for, Anna Marie, got the post 7.
I'm happy with that draw. If I like him, that's for sure. He should get a good trip. I mean, the funny thing is, Brown has another horse in the race, domestic spending or whatever. He's got post 15. Do you think he would like to switch with Sierra Leone? Could you do that if you're the same trainer?
All right, now here's another genius idea. Maybe after they draw the post, they can have the trainers and owners, trade, do a little bartering like they do with the NFL, draft, where you start trading for people and offering money to get a better post position. Who knows?
You move up. You move up in the draft. Well, now you're moving up in the post draw.
Anyhow, it is what it is, and it is the Kentucky Derby, and that's why they do it the way they do it. So we'll leave it at that. Now, we are running out of time to give you the Kentucky Oaks field, but we'll do that on Wednesday's show. The Kentucky Oaks wound up with 16 horses in it, and we will wait and tell you about that. Real quick, the morning line favorite, as posted by the morning line maker there at Churchill Downs, is 7-2, and that is Tarifa, the Brad Cox trainee with Flavian Pratt. He got post 8 in this field. And the second choice, I believe, at 9-2 is make that Our Pretty Woman is at nope. Leslie's Rose is at 4-1. Just FYI is at 9-2, and Torpedo Anna is at 5-1. Everybody else is in double digits on the Kentucky Oaks. We'll have more about that a little bit later on, but we do have to move along with the race day show. That's for sure. All right, Jonathan, you got some horses for us today?
Yeah, let's look at Gulfstream's 7th race today. A mile and 70 yards on Tapeta, full field of 10 go. And I like the number 3 horse in here, Grandma's Pudding. This is a 5-year-old mare from the Angel Rodriguez barn. Jonathan Ocasio aboard to ride. She's listed at 7-2 on the morning line. She's clearly the fastest horse in this race. This is a pick 4, pick 5 single in today's 7th race out at Gulfstream. Number 3, Grandma's Pudding.
All right, Grandma's Pudding on a Sunday, 7th race, the 3. Grandma's Pudding, the 3 and the 7th at Gulfstream, and where else?
Aqueduct, race number 7, a mile on the 7 furlongs on the main track, and I like the number 9 horse in here, Can't Beat the Rock. This is a 6-year-old gelding from the David Jacobson barn. Isaac Castillo aboard to ride. He's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. You could draw a line through his last race. First of all, he was coming back on just a 6-day layoff after running a big effort 2 starts back. He bounced last time out. Look for him to rebound and run a big one today. 8-1 on the morning line. Number 9. Can't Beat the Rock wins today's 7th race out at Aqueduct.
Well, let's hope they can't. In the 7th race, number 9, Can't Beat the Rock, is Jonathan Hardoon's play at Aqueduct, 7th race, the 9. And Jonathan, I know you have 4 sheets available today.
Gulfstream, Oaklawn, Aqueduct, and Santa Anita selections.
All right, my man. Well, it is only just begun, my man. Now it's time to really get to work and put the pedal to the metal on this, that's for sure. We will see you, of course, on Wednesday's show and here in studio on Thursday for the Thursday shows and there on out here at the South Point. Can't wait. Have safe travels. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
All right. You got it, my man. We're going to go to our next break real quick because Rich Eng is standing by, and he's busy with the Daily Racing Form getting that Kentucky Derby Advanced Edition out to you and me and everybody else out there by Tuesday morning. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Who is there for heroes or the families left behind when a service member or first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless veterans? And who helps our nation to never forget 9/11? Let me tell you who. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Foundation's Gold Star, Fallen First Responder, Smart Home, and Homeless Veteran programs comprise their In the Line of Duty programs. They're all dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes and their families. The Foundation's Never Forget programs engage people in 9/11 remembrance across America. Over 80 runs, walks, and climbs a year, dozens of golf outings, and the Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is educating kids in kindergarten through 12th grade to help our nation keep its vow to never forget. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. And I don't have a 150 Derby hat, but this is the last one I got, so I put it on this morning.
That's the 116th Kentucky Derby hat?
A 146.
Oh, 146. I couldn't see the crossover, the 4 there. 146 Kentucky. Well, that wasn't too far ago. That was just 4 years ago. Anyhow, well, all I can say is this, my man: the post position draw, and specifically to the 2 horses that are going to be the morning line favorites. Anyhow, drew very challenging post positions for the 1.25 miles based on tradition in the Kentucky Derby. That makes this maybe a little bit more wide open Kentucky Derby.
Well, one thing about handicapping the Derby every year, Ralph, quite frankly, it's the most challenging race that you're going to handicap all year, not just for us, but for any horse player, because you don't get 20 horse fields and going 1.25 miles where no one's gone the distance before. I mean, there are so many unknown variables. The post position draw just, take care of one thing. But I tell you what, with that new starting gate, I can remember in years gone by, especially when I was working for ABC Sports, if you took a look at the position of the old gate, the 1 and the 2 post, if you're the jockey, when you look down the track, all you see is the rail, the inner rail. So, you started out in a pretty hairy position. But now I've seen the last couple of years with the new starting gate, when you look down the track, at least the 1 and the 2 can see racetrack. They're not actually looking at the inside rail.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it plays out, how important it is.
Well, it's going to be, in the end, there's going to be more trouble notes than, anything else as far as the footnotes are concerned. And certainly the last element is something you can't control after you make your bets and do all the handicapping and all the work that we do, as we always do, overanalyzing the big sporting events. And that is, of course, the racing luck, the trip that the horses get. And so that leaves it up to a lot of the jockeys and their intuitiveness, and certainly what they have underneath them as far as a horse. You can't ask a horse to do anything more than what he's capable of doing. And certainly if you have a horse that needs to be placed early, you got to try to do that. If you have a horse that has no early speed, you got to try to sit there and save ground and get him to gather himself and look for, the lanes to get through, etc. So that's the one element that we are all, with the fastest 2 minutes of sports, going to have to bear with. But in any case, in doing it beforehand, simply put, because of those post positions, I think we're going to have a wide open tote board.
No, it always is. And, when you look at the number 2 post with Sierra Leone, a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's got to pass 19 horses. Well, if you watch the replay of the Derbies with Rich Strike and Mind That Bird, they came from last. And if you watch their trips, it's unbelievable how it's like a cab driver going through Manhattan traffic jam, going in and out and in and out. And you can do it, but you got to have the horse. The horse has got to give you enough firepower to be able to, when you see an opening, to go through it. When you see an opportunity to go left or right, has to maneuver. So there's a lot of luck involved, but it can be done. We see it.
Well, I can tell you this, that both those horses you were talking about with their trips and the final trip, the final maneuver they made was getting down to the rail when they came down the home stretch because both of them rode the rail right to victory.
Yeah, the inside saving ground. I know there's handicappers who say saving ground is overrated, but I tell you what, when you can save ground, it sure makes a big difference rather than going 6 wide in the stretch.
Yeah, no question about that. That's for sure. Now, Richie, of course, you'll have a big analysis, your extensive analysis on the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, right? Friday and Saturday, you'll have the big analysis for the 2 days of racing at Churchill, right?
Yeah, Brisnet.com. I've been doing it for about the last 12 years. It'll be easily 6 or 7 pages, full card, Ralph, 14 races, full analysis, and they'll be available at the racedaylasvegas.com website. Cost $20, but I get a lot of repeat business, so hopefully I do a good job and we point to some live horses.
Well, give me a live horse today after your success yesterday.
Yeah, well, let's go to the 5th race. It's a mile on the grass. Here's a horse just dropping down in class from the Grade 1 Kilborough is the number 3, Dandy Man Shines. 2-1 in the morning line. I know it's kind of a short price, but anyway, Umberto Rispoli should be able to enjoy an easier task than the Grade 1 Kilborough. This is a simpler condition. So let's go with the 3, Dandy Man Shines, to come from the back of the pack, race 5, Santa Anita.
All right, the anchor race in the early pick 4 and early pick 5, 5th race at Santa Anita. You like number 3, Dandy Man Shines. We hope he does as well in the winner's circle today. The 5th race, number 3 at Santa Anita. Get the rest of Richie's selections, full selections for today at Santa Anita right now at the racedaylasvegas.com websites. And don't forget, Rich, Tuesday, the advance form.
Tuesday, I'm going to be very busy because I'm already getting lots of calls. I'll be mailing out the Kentucky Derby Advance on Tuesday morning, and people can still call to get it. Here's a number real quick, 702-261-9400 to order your edition of the Kentucky Derby Advance.
Exactly. If you are in a place where you can't get the racing form as you usually do on Tuesday, the number to call Richie here in Vegas, and he'll get that thing mailed out right to you, 702-261-9400. Thanks a lot, Rich. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right, we're going to blow off our last commercial and go right to John Lindo standing by. So, John, if you're ready, good morning.
I am ready. Good morning. How you doing there, Ralph?
Well, what'd you think? Post position draw for the Derby. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna take a different tack. You said Forever Young drew well. This is a horse that his connections have said doesn't like dirt in his face, and he drew between 2 speed horses. The number 10 Teo Password, the other Japanese horse, has speed, and then you have Track Phantom adding blinkers to his outside. I think both of those horses are going to go, and I just don't see how Forever Young doesn't eat a lot of dirt in his face early, and that's not going to help him.
Well, if that is the case, then we'll put a line right through him, that's for sure, because in a 20-horse field and 19 other horses around you, if you don't possess a lot of early speed, you're going to get some dirt in your face.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to have a story when they're done with this. 20 horses, and, they'll take no prisoners for a mile and a quarter.
No, that's for sure. And, also, I got to remind everybody, too, the stewards give a lot of latitude to jockeying and all that stuff in the Kentucky Derby. It's kind of known as the roughest horse race that you'll ever see in America without getting any disqualifications in there. That's for sure. They take it to the limit, don't they?
It was always an unwritten rule that you didn't claim foul in the Derby no matter what happened. That has, I think, changed a little bit through the years. We've seen a recent disqualification, so things are changing a little bit. But as a general rule, they let them play in the Derby.
They certainly do, which means keep an eye on IRAD. That's for sure.
He'll be doing something.
Yeah, if you give a guy who, likes speeding and then you give him the license to speed, he's going to use it to his most advantage, that's for sure. Yeah, believe it, IRAD's on a horse that's 30-1 on the morning line. As far as the morning line is concerned, I know there's going to be a lot of differences, but there's got to be a lot of juicy long shots that are going to be able to fill out the exotics there. And you and I and Jonathan and a whole lot of other handicappers are going to be looking at how we can make money in this Kentucky Derby if we can fill out the positions just right. It all starts, of course, on Thursday with you on set here in Las Vegas with us, both in the morning and in the afternoon special show. And then, of course, the seminar on Friday. And, of course, actually laying the money down and making the play on Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. All great stuff that's happening here at the South Point. And I know you, as well as I and Jonathan, invite everybody else to come out and enjoy it with us here at the South Point.
Oh, yeah. Come on out. Say hello. We'll chat horses, which is what we like to do anyways, Ralph. So it's just an excuse to get together with friends, and hopefully we can cash some tickets.
In the scheme of things, in the post position draw, and I'm just using this, and then we'll get to the pick. Any horse that you see in the race that got a nice post position draw, in your opinion?
Well, I think it was important for fierceness, and being on the outside, he can kind of control his own fate. He can come out running, and with the 12 post for Track Phantom, I would not be surprised to see Johnny Velasquez come out of the gate and try and get right on that horse's flank and just follow him around.
Well, we will wait and see there. And don't forget, folks, the Kentucky Oaks, just as important on Friday. We'll get to that field when we get together on Wednesday morning. All right, John, time to get a winner for us at Santa Anita.
Let's go to the first race at Santa Anita, Ralph. In the first race, number 6, Abita, tried to win the Calbred condition on the dirt last time after winning it on the turf the time before. She's not a dirt horse. You throw that last race out. She gets a subtle class drop error into a non-winners of 3 starter allowance condition, so gets back on her favorite surface, gets a subtle class drop. She likes this course. Hector Barrios is aboard. 7-2 on the morning line. A lot to like. Number 6, Abita, race 1, Santa Anita.
1 o'clock, first post time, Pacific time. First race, number 6, Abita, is John Lindo's pick. Don't forget the Lindo Report right now here exclusively in Las Vegas, only in one place, and that is at the South Point Racebook, free of charge. Complimentary to you because they love horse players and John's product as well. Thanks a lot, John. We'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it, Ralph. See you out in Las Vegas.
You got it, my man. Okay, time to go to Jerry Jakowec. I guess he liked the Giants, their picks over the good morning.
Leaf Neighbors? What are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's the best player in the whole draft.
All right, there you go.
They got the best player of the whole draft. Forget about it.
All right, so
forget about it.
In any case, the draft for the Giants went well. How about the post positions at the Kentucky Derby? Any thoughts real quick?
Yeah, if your name is Fierceness, you got like the best post position you could possibly get. I mean, there's no excuse he can really have. From out there, he can take the crown of the track, run downhill, get best position he wants in the first turn if he wants to sit or if he wants to go. And, it's just all a question of whether Sierra Leone can make up the ground in 1.25 miles on him. Yeah. And we know that Sierra Leone is going to get 1.25 miles. We just know that.
Well,
we just don't know if he's going to catch Fierceness or not.
Yeah, right. We don't know if he can get through all that traffic either. But a lot of people
go around it.
A lot of people thought Fierceness, the 17, might be too far outside with a lot of speed on the inside. But we'll wait and see. That's what the Kentucky Derby is all about, and certainly we'll get your thoughts as the next week moves closer to the Kentucky Derby. Nice couple of picks yesterday. What do we got today?
All right, let's go to the 7th race at Aqueduct today. Can't Beat the Rock for David Jacobson has somewhat unusual form for contemporary racing. Racing awful lot back in January, then comes back with 3 races in the month of March, and then gets a little bit of break. I have a feeling he's going to come back and fire really big. This horse runs every time. Last time out, he was against the bias. I like the 9 in the 7th race an awful lot. 8-1, make a win place bet. 9 over 1-2-5-6. 1-2-5-6 back over the 9.
All right, the 1 is scratched in the race, and it's a ding, 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 ding because you and Jonathan land on the same horse in this race. The 9 Can't Beat the Rock. Your link-ups are 2, 5, and 6 with the 1 being scratched. That in the 7th race at Aqueduct, now Santa Anita.
Well, after we win with Can't Beat the Rock, we'll have a little extra cash for beer money.
Okay.
In the 3rd at Aqueduct.
All right, go ahead.
I love this little colt sprinting on the turf, going 6 furlongs. I like him a lot at 5-1. He's great. Take the 4 over the 1, 2, 6, and 8. Reverse 1, 2, 6, and 8 back over the 4. But the 4 is beer money.
Okay. We got it.
And I love the 17 posts for a speed horse at Churchill Downs.
All right. Real quick, Santa Anita, the 4 over 1, 2, 6, 8, and reverse. $2 ROI on the Ford Beer Money. Power pages, Santa Anita and Aqueduct at jerryjspowerpage.com. Don't forget Eddie Olczyk on Punchlines tomorrow here on the South Point Studios Network at noon, on the Punchline at noon. Go ahead and say it, Jerry.
Have a great race day, everybody.